I got nothing else to do with the kidney stone here in the hospital, so I thought I would blog it. I just got the painkiller and the nausea stuff, so I have 15 minutes though. I felt like I had a cramp and I went to the bathroom, and then right in my side and right side, middle, and it got worse, and I just didn't feel good. I thought maybe appendicitis, so family couldn't get ready fast enough, so I drove myself to the hospital, which is only half a mile away. It's fucking painful, like sweating, almost threw up, and it's moving up my back and down. Thirsty, really thirsty. It hit right after breakfast. I thought maybe it was food poisoning. I'm sure this has been happening a lot. What did they do before painkillers? I asked the guy, he said they just suffered. And I said, what about appendicitis? And he said they just died. So at least I'm not gonna die. So I don't know what else to talk about except pain. Maybe subsiding a little because they gave me something. Hate listening to people outside talk about banal chatter 20 feet from me while I'm almost on the ground with pain. And CNN on the waiting room, what is up with that? When people are hurt and in distress, showing them hurt and distress. Otherwise, we have a great hospital in Brattleboro. But it's helping me to talk, really, actually, to the camera. Funny. Okay. There comes the painkiller a little. Yeah, okay. A little bit. Shit. Okay. Well, I'll blog when I can. Well, let's see, the first painkiller was an anti-inflammatory, I think, and that really helped. But then it started to ramp up again, so they gave me Dilant, something, an opiate, a small dose. So that helps a lot, although I can't drive home. Been a nice break, though. Although I could think of a lot better things on my day off. I think it's sunny out. And when the stone comes out, I think I'll, if I can find it, you're peeing into a filter here, I'll put it on the internet in this video, because the nurse said, go on the internet, you can see all kinds of kidney stones. Blah, 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 blah. I'll report on this stone if we can find it, the bastard. Well, I walked over to the pharmacy from the hospital, which was only about 500 feet. The verdict came down, a 4mm textbook kidney stone. Whenever I drink a 16-ounce glass of water in the morning, like first thing before any food, I have a better day. So, time to do that for sure. Little large side, I guess, is 4mm, which means go home, pee in a strainer, find it, bring it back for analysis. Hear that? That's a little piece of rock in here. About 4mm, sure enough. So I had dull pain after the terrible hospital morning. I only took painkillers once or twice. I went to work. Dull pain up here, dull pain a little lower. I thought it was a blood clot at first last night. I had a couple of those 20 minutes before, and then a third one, but it turned out when we looked at it that it was a rock. It didn't hurt coming out, just like they said it probably wouldn't, 4mm. The pain is when it's going down the urethra and the kidney backing up, but it drops into the bladder, I guess. Didn't hurt coming out. I took a picture of it on a Q-tip. It's funny vlogging this stuff. It passed painlessly, like they said. I guess drops into the bladder, and then there's no pain, at least at 4mm. Passing it into the little screen. I'm gonna go tell the kids too. Shaw? The rock came out. Look.
I am Puma. Did you know pumas live in the same place as lynx?
No. Shake that around. Listen inside.
Guess what I was? Look.
Yes.
See that little thing in there?
Isn't that amazing? There's a little rock in there that was that Papa peed out. I'm gonna take a break from reading now.
Can I see? Do you see that little walk thingy? That little brown thing?
No, when I'm in hospitals, I always think of it has to be set up for doctors, you know, the room, the environment, the air, the everything, so they can do their job and nurses can do their job. But if you think about a patient, there's a lot of things in hospitals that aren't for patients. Health, ironically. Let's start with the entrance to the hospital. CNN was on. Now, it's an emergency room where people are in trouble usually. Politics and disasters on television wouldn't seem to be what you'd want to be showing people. I've always wondered about the TVs and the noise pollution. When my uncle was in a resting home, a facility where, and this is, of course, the medication, he was basically dying. And they put him next to someone else, and everyone has TVs. They don't give them headphones. Do you know what noise pollution does to people's minds? And then they come in and would disturb him every few hours. No good sleep cycle for tests and stuff. Then coming in, I've also heard in my hour and a half, 2 hours I was here in the beginning, 3 conversations by staff gossiping. One about the weekend's activities. When I was having my worst pain, I was listening to every word. People about 20 feet away have a very light conversation, and my thinking, like many patients, is probably, why aren't you helping me? I'm going to literally die over here. My kidney's going to explode. And you're talking really casually. Could you talk somewhere else casually? It'd be nice to be supported by people around me who are helping me with the pain, or just not there. And then what else? A person cleaning up the rooms who had a persistent cough. I think persistent coughing shouldn't happen in a hospital by staff. Maybe that's just me. I had them turn the lights off. I've noticed hospitals have the worst light. It's bright for the doctors and nurses to work, I'm sure, but it is hard for everyone to live in that environment. And the patient's always on their back, right? Usually on your back. Sometimes you can't turn to one side, and the lights are on the ceiling. Have to be on the ceiling for the doctors and nurses to work, right? But I think in the future, when we can still figure out a way to have the doctors and nurses have enough light, they're not going to put the light where the patients have to stare at it. And they're going to take the opportunity to do something with the ceiling to calm the patient. We know how much dis-ease equals disease. We know how much, if you're calm and feel safe and attended to, how that can help you, almost like a placebo. And I think the environment of the hospital as we progress as a species is going to capitalize on that while maintaining the doctors' and nurses' ability to work. I will say our hospital in Brattleboro is great, by the way. Nothing against this hospital or its staff. I'm talking 100 years from now, what things are going to change in favor of the patient experience. Brattleboro is a good hospital. I had a talk with my doctor who ended up being pretty high up on the food chain and explained some user experience stuff and my 100-year vision for hospitals, and he was really receptive. He said it's hard to innovate and the buildings are often old, but I noticed when I walked out, CNN was not on. Oh, overhearing people? He said, yeah, there is a break room and they really try not to have that happen, and he totally understands if people are joking and laughing and gossiping when someone's in pain. There's a tribal infraction there where everyone around you is supposed to help you or be gone. And he also has noise machines they're working on so you can't hear people. The cough, I heard, he said, was chronic, so they don't know what to do about that. It's a good employee. So I that was encouraging. And I think, as usual, progress is slow and steady and hard to see, but we are progressing positively as a species, I think, in the long run. I always think that at the end of the day. That's why I get up in the morning.